Hey, welcome to Geek Speak, episode 23. It's already 23.
That's right.
All right, what do you want to talk about, brother?
So I was talking to a friend the other day, and he had mentioned that, and I know it might not be a big geeky thing, but there's a big fan base for Roadhouse. They're getting ready to come out with a new Roadhouse.
Yeah, I saw that trailer like 2 days ago. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it yet. Was it any good?
Yeah, I mean, I watched it. Teresa watched it, and I really wasn't interested in seeing the movie at all because I'm not much on remakes.
Right.
But when I saw it, at the end of it, I thought, you know what? That actually looks good.
So I know Jake Gyllenhaal's doing Swayze's part.
Yeah.
Right? And I know that he has like some kind of fighting skill or fighting history.
I don't know.
But anyway,
He's an actor, probably.
What got me was McGregor. What's his Conor McGregor?
Yeah, Conor McGregor.
He's going to be the villain, and
yeah,
he's not an actor though.
Yeah, he's not an actor, but I don't think it's like a Shakespearean part or anything. I think it's something he can handle. It's probably like a bunch of grunting and chest thumping and stuff like that.
Right.
But even the original bad guy in the original movie, I like the original movie, and it was a classic. And Benny Urquidez did the martial art action in the original movie.
Okay.
He was the one that choreographed all the.
But like Swayze wasn't.
Yeah, he was choreographer.
Swayze wasn't a fighter though.
Yeah, but he helped him and he worked with him and he was athletic and I liked a lot of the fight scenes in the first one. A lot of them were realistic, and but the thing I didn't like about the first one is he so spoiler alert, you get all the way to the end of the movie, and he's going through all these henchmen to get to the main bad guy.
Right. Which
is classic action movie. So he's killing them in the yard, and he's killing them in the foyer, and he's killing them on the stairs, and he kills them up to the second level. He finally gets to the main bad guy, has a big fight, has him right where he wants him. And he's like, you know what, I'm not going to kill you because that would make me no better than you. But he just got through killing 30 guys not 10 minutes ago. And
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I don't really think that morality holds up, dude.
What I thought was crazy was that stupid, what was it, like he would rip people's throats out?
Yeah, that was in the first movie. Hopefully they'll skip that on the next movie. You'd have to have a hell of a grip to do that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm not sure a grizzly bear can do that.
The skill I'd like to have.
So on Amazon, which I know you have Amazon, because we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
There's a show called Upload, and it's a sci-fi show. It's like a comedy drama, but what it is there's a guy named Nathan, and he gets uploaded into like a nursing home. You know, you got different levels of nursing home, different levels of elderly care.
Okay, right.
And so this is you can get uploaded your consciousness into a virtual nursing home. So you can be there forever. You can have a young body. You can eat whatever you want, and depending on how much money you put forth, determines what level of care you get.
So your consciousness is in a VR.
Yeah, it's in a VR.
Okay.
And so one of the customer service reps in the real world who can go into the virtual world via avatar, named Nora, she falls in love with Nathan. And there's a little bit of a murder mystery there, and it's just real good high sci-fi action, and it's original. And I'm such a fan of original stuff because it seems like there's so many remakes, like we talked about Roadhouse, and so many sequels and prequels. So it's nice to have something original. But if you haven't watched Upload on Amazon, and you do like comedy/drama with a sci-fi slant, I think you really, really enjoy it.
All right.
So what else you want to talk about, brother?
So I had recently heard, that Disney, you know, they had hired this Charmy, pardon me if I butcher her last name, Obadan Chani something another.
She's not from Kentucky.
No. They had her in line to do all these different projects, like an animated series and other stuff, and she was going to do the upcoming Ray movie, and they've released her from pretty much all the projects except for the Ray movie right now.
Yeah.
And rumor is it's because she's been asking for like double the amount of her pay. She hadn't even got started yet.
Yeah.
and she's already hitting them up for more money, and so they just was like, nah.
Well, I mean, I don't think the Ray movie will ever be made, and I don't think they'd ever planned on making it. I think that, Ray as a character was poorly written. Nothing against Daisy Ridley, who played the character, who is a good actress, by the way, but the character was poorly written, and it was a hodgepodge and a mismatch, the sequels, and too many directors, not enough direction, and with the way today's current social media is, if you're an IP owner, whether you own intellectual property like Star Trek or Star Wars or Doctor Who or Lord of the Rings, you want to keep that property. You want to keep people talking about it.
Right.
And so one way they do that is they release, we're getting ready to come out with this new show, or we're getting ready to come out with this new movie, knowing darn well they're not going to do it. I mean, just in Star Wars alone, David and Dan, who done Game of Thrones, was supposed to have their own trilogy. Rian Johnson was supposed to have his own trilogy. Taika Waititi was supposed to have his own trilogy. And so now they're talking about Dave Filoni having something, and maybe some of those projects will be made. But I knew darn well Rian Johnson and Dan and David wasn't going to get that, wasn't going to get their trilogies made. And I know for sure, and you may not know, and they might not know, but I know, and Disney knows.
Oh, he knows.
That Ray movie was never going to get made.
So you're thinking it's all a facade to keep everybody's interest going.
Yeah, they had a Star Wars celebration recently, and they contacted Daisy Ridley at the last second to show up and announced to her there that they were planning on making a new movie.
Without even talking to her?
Just so she could walk out on stage and everybody like, wow, really? No, that movie's not getting made. And the thing is, what they'll do is they'll do something like that lady with that name we can't pronounce.
Right. Shamarmi.
Yeah, they'll say that, that she was the director we wanted, and she was the only one that could have really done the movie justice, but she's asking for too much money. And so we've decided to move on and not do that. No, they were never planned on making that movie to begin with. So anyway, so William Shatner recently, and I follow him on Twitter, or I guess you call it X now, that Elon Musk bought it. But he posted, somebody commented on there, how come you wasn't on the new Paramount promotional ad? And they had a promotional ad showing the history of Star Trek, all the different captains and characters that have been on there. And Kirk, who should have been right in the center,
right,
wasn't there, and he wasn't on there at all.
Right.
And he said, William Shatner said that the Kirk character has become difficult for Paramount because he was written in the 60s, and it's unfortunate, because Kirk's the kind of guy that he loved women, and he fought men, and he was a man's man. And it's ironic in today's society, which many of the men seem to be more effeminate than ever, that there's this term called toxic masculinity.
Right.
To where, Kirk, he just doesn't fit into the modern man. Well, he should. If it wasn't for men like that, we wouldn't have the freedoms that we have today.
Right.
But
we wouldn't be here today.
Right. So so yeah, I mean, Paramount trying to step away from that. They screwed up the Luke Skywalker character, and they screwed up the Witcher character, and anyway, what else you want to talk about?
So, Deadpool 3 is coming out, and I heard that Hugh Jackman has kind of jumped on the bandwagon with Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman had recorded there's supposed to be scenes from Logan's past, where he battled in World War II.
That's
and
cool.
He battled in Vietnam, but Disney says that it was too graphic.
Oh,
and
so too toxic masculinity.
Too toxic masculinity. They decided they were going to scrap those scenes, and it's irritated. I won't say pissed off, but you might as well say pissed off. Hugh, and he's decided that he's not going to come out and promote the movie like he had agreed. They own ABC, so he wasn't going to hit Good Morning America or The View or Jimmy Kimmel or any of their shows.
Yeah.
And show special clips, which was going to help out that company.
Yeah, he's not doing the publicity tour.
Yeah, and if he does, he's not going to do it for them.
Yeah.
And Ryan Reynolds had already started that, so he's kind of backing up Ryan Reynolds. But see, now that you've said what you said, as far as is it all a facade to bring interest to the movie? Because this is the movie of the year. This is the movie that they're.
I think that's the only thing Marvel's coming out with in 2024.
And if this flops, and there's no interest in it, then they're kind of screwed. So is this a facade too?
I don't know. I mean, it could be, it could not be. I mean, I'd mentioned Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker.
Right.
In The Last Jedi, Mark Hamill was crying off screen because of the crap he had to do on screen, because how they were deconstructing and murdering that character.
Right.
Character that he cared about. And so then you have Henry Cavill on The Witcher, who actually just walked away from that, and they're trying to get some other guy in there to fill in for him, because he's passionate about the books, and he told them that, and that's the reason he wanted to do the project. But they are deviating so much from the books and just writing their own story.
I thought it was a game.
No, it is a game, but it was the books before it was a game.
Oh, okay.
And so he walked away, and I respect that. And I think the geek community respects Henry Cavill. Now, he'll probably be blackballed in Hollywood for doing that. But if Rian Johnson's doing that, I got respect for him too, because he was passionate about the Deadpool character before he made the Deadpool movie.
Right. He's directing this one. He's more involved.
He was really involved in the first two. He said, look, if we're going to do this, this is how we're going to do it. We're not going to try to make it PG or PG-13. It's a rated R character. And he had so much input, and that was successful. So now, if he's not happy with the direction that Disney's taken it, now that Disney has control of that character, whereas before they didn't, I'm sure Ryan's doing the right thing. And if he's got to be difficult, then sure. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. If you don't stand for something, you fall for everything.
Well, it makes me wonder, especially with Hugh doing this, is it going to affect, because he was supposedly supposed to be doing a Secret Wars with Wolverine. Is it going to affect that as well? It
could. So we did a video on The Fifth Element.
Right.
And so I'm a big Luc Besson fan, who directed that. And he had actually done another sci-fi movie after that. And it was a passion project. So he put up his own money, and he funded the whole thing himself, $200-some million. And it was called Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. And it's based on a French comic that he read when he was a kid. And so he made the movie, and what it is basically, without spoiling anything, is you have the space station, American space station, and Russia is working together. Well, then China joins in, and then some other countries join in. Well, it's not long before aliens are joining into the space station. Space station just keeps getting larger and larger, to the point where if it enters the orbit and falls to Earth, it could do some major damage. So they actually jettison out in space, and more aliens just keep adding on to this space station. So it's a space station with tons of cultures on it. Hence the name, the City of 1,000 Planets.
That's cool.
And so the main character is Valerian, and he's got a love interest, another character called Lorelei. And it's interesting because the guy who wrote the comic, he just made the word up Lorelei. There was no woman named Lorelei up before then. But it became so popular in France that it was like the #1 female name for several years.
I was thinking there was a movie character named Lorelei.
And there may have been, but it was all from that guy's imagination. But Luke did a great job on directing it. The movie made its money back, which is considered a box office flop, because they don't want to put up 200-some million and make 200-some million.
Right.
They want to make 400 or 500 million.
But he got his passion project.
He got his passion
He's
project
happy.
made, and he got his money back. Everybody got paid. Everybody went away happy, except for the studio, who wanted huge profits. And but the CGI holds up. It's a good story, and if you haven't watched it, you need to check it out. And I think it's on Amazon now. So, what else you want to talk about?
I ain't got nothing.
Nothing else?
No.
Okay, so let's talk about my comic book recommendation for this month. It's all your fault.
You're welcome.
It's your fault. It's your fault. So we did an episode on Jonah Hex, which I didn't know squat about Jonah Hex, and but you lent me some the comics. And I read them. I got hooked. So I've read 25 of them. I'll let you hold it up. That's a tradition.
There you go.
So I've read 25 of them, and out of the 25, 23 have been fantastic, and maybe 2 of them was meh. But the writing and the art, they have rotating artists, has been great. What's great about these is they're standalone stories. You can just jump right in, and they're really good Western stories, and I've been enjoying them so much. And there's like 70 some of them of the New 52. Excuse me. New 52 Jonah Hex, which I mean there were several runs before that, but I plan on getting them all, and it's all your fault. It's all your fault.
DC.
Yes, but yeah, it's good. If you like westerns and you like good writing and like good art, you should try it out. Okay, are you done? You done? I'm done. So appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. That means a lot to Robert and me too. I'll be honest with you. And so stay geeky, my friends.